So this reading I'm going to talk about is kind of what's going on in Portland right now. And I have a feeling, I hate to say it, viewers, but I have a feeling we're going to see this happening in other cities as well. But the governor, the governor who is showing here as the Queen of Swords, she does not want them there. That's what I don't understand. It's like she doesn't want these federal agents and apparently their Homeland Security and various things. They're showing up in military garb, snatching people off the street, and they've been deployed. We've got the Chariot here, which can be, they're going in like they're going to war with the American people. And a lot of these people are young people, but that is what they are doing. This is like an act of war, is what we really need to look on. And that is what is going on. These are American people. They are protesting. But you know what all this is about? And I was doing a little bit of reading because I was trying to educate myself a little bit. This is all to protect the monuments, okay? That's what they claim. They apparently signed some act about protecting the monuments and so forth. But it's a little more than that because they're trying to scare the protesters, okay? If they're going at them like this is a war, being deployed, they're trying to intimidate. And it's a show of power. It's a show of power of them going in and doing this to these protesters. And one of the things that is the scary part, I want you to look at the moon. The moon is about confusion. The moon is about obscurity. So that is one of the things. They are taking protesters, throwing them in unmarked vans. They don't know, they don't identify themselves. They don't say who they work for, though we know who they work for, okay? And they're not saying who they work for. They're not telling them where they're going, what they're doing, what they're being snatched for. They're saying nothing. And a lot of these people are just innocent protesters. I've got the virtue card. They're just trying to protest. Yeah, there's going to be some that are kind of causing trouble and doing some vandalism. We know that. But you don't, have a show of force like this over some graffiti. You don't go to war with the American people. And that's what they're doing right now, guys. But there are some that are innocent. They're also shooting them with less than lethal rubber bullets and things like that. But the governor's like, no, I don't want you here. They're trying to stand firm. And right now, the Attorney General is suing the federal government over this, what they're doing to protesters, because they are hurting them. And I got the oppression card. So they are trying to oppress the protesters, okay? Are trying to weigh them down with this physical presence to try to, defeat them. And I do have that card, defeat. That is the aim, is trying to defeat them on their mission to be able to protest. And the bulk of them, it's starting to get heated though, because when you throw in military action, yeah, that's going to get people feisty. That's going to get them feisty. But they're there to oppress. But the reason is supposedly to protect monuments and doing all this, so it's not good. And yes, that's perfect. I just have the magician, the Attorney General. I can see this like with court cases and various things. This can be lots of times a prosecutor. So yeah, they're suing the federal government right now. And I'm really concerned. There's a couple things concerning. I've got the tower in the read. Right now, it is a tower moment really in Portland. It's bad. It's bad, okay? But I want you to note a tower and how it comes down. They claim it's protecting monuments, but you don't kill people to protect a monument. I'm not saying they've killed anyone yet, but they have been doing these less than lethal. And there was a young man who apparently got hit in the face with one and has a skull fracture. And right now they're in the hospital and they could potentially die. This is my concern, okay? When I look at what's going on in Portland, and this could erupt in other places where they have been deployed, because they're going to war with the American people. You guys should be concerned about that. And if anybody, you're pro-Trump and you happen to see my reading, if this is your America, I know you say, oh, the protesters are doing this, that, we got to stop them. Guys, the majority are peaceful. Yes, they've taken down some monuments, but it doesn't mean that you do such a show of force with military. Let the police and let the governors deal with it. And that's what the governors are saying, is you're making the situation worse by coming here and doing that. But this is my concern here, is death. I'm very concerned that this is coming. If they don't get out of there and go away, there could be some deaths. Because, less than lethal does not mean it's impossible. Okay? But this is a concern. This is definitely a concern that is showing in my layout. Now, let me look a little bit more. Hold on. Yes, and I've got the stripe. That's been my symbol for the protesters too. And that's the thing, they're trying to protest. Yes, some are angry. Of course they are. Would you be angry if all these guys were deployed on you? Was a show of force. And apparently fascism is a word that is trending, like on Twitter and things like that. And because peaceful protesting has always been protected, that's one of the things. But there definitely is, even with Standing Rock is a big one. It's dear to my heart. That was especially where all the light ones, when we talk about the light workers, the Awakened went to Standing Rock to peacefully protest. And look the way they were treating them there. They started get pretty forceful with them and everything, but they're trying to just be peaceful. But these guys, and then I've got the change card. The change card just, came up. I see that's what I'm concerned about, with change, is, what's going on here. I'm really concerned for the protesters out there. I mean, because no good can come out of this, with having these agents coming in, not identifying themselves. They're not, the Portland police, they're not Oregon police. And coming in and doing this, and I know they're trying to intimidate, but, if you tear gas or shoot with these rubber bullets and things like that, you could potentially, kill someone. And that's what I'm a little concerned with, what's going on. If these guys don't finally get out of there and just go away, that someone's going to die. I'm sorry to do that. No, I don't do personal death predictions, okay, with people, but I'm just given the reality. When I'm dealing with something global, I will say that something can happen, and see if that goes down. If something happens to one of those protesters like that, which it's looking like they're in the danger zone, that yes, that could happen. And they just need to, this is kind of representative, the Prince of Wands, to just leave it to the police, let them handle it. Even if they're in over their head, it's their problem. I see that's the thing, trying to supposedly protect these monuments, but when you're also trying to disturb the peaceful protesters. And as I was just doing that piece, they are trying to be peaceful down there. Yes, there's always going to be a troublemaker at a peaceful protest. Okay, it's going to happen, guys. And you're going to have some troublemakers get in there and graffiti or whatever, but the majority of them are trying to be peaceful. And they have every right, they have every right to do this. But I do have the Ace of Swords. So, that's the thing, going in like military, and all this. They're trying to get the upper hand, and they're trying to oppress these protesters, I'd be scared to get out there myself, getting out there with all this going on. But we need to be really concerned, and everybody needs to be speaking up about this, but the governor, is putting up a fight here, and I do appreciate that they're speaking out, and they're saying, get out of here, get these guys out of here. You are making things worse in Portland, is what they're trying to say. You're just making it worse. And I just drew the failure card. So where, that is one good thing. At least it will be a failure. Ultimately, you would have to step up even harder to try to stop some peaceful protesters because they're determined. It's just like we saw it in the 60s, they, the hippies and all them, God love them, they protested against the Vietnam War. They dealt with opposition. We saw division back then, the patriot side. You don't talk bad about our soldiers. We're not trying to talk bad about the soldiers. We're talking about an unjust war. When we now are in 2020, we look back, everybody pretty much agrees we shouldn't have been over there. We all, we support our soldiers, God bless them for going over there, but we all agree it should never happen. It was crazy. But ultimately they will fail in that because I hate to say it, I feel like something's going to happen that's going to set off something, that somebody is going to, there's going to be a death, that's going to happen, and that could set it off. But ultimately the mission will fail with what they are doing because a lot of people are speaking out right now, just like it said, fascism, that is trending. I kind of wonder if he even cares. I wonder if Trump cares, that this is trending and this is the way a lot of Americans, see it. I feel like, this law and order president, this is what he wants to be. This is what he wants to portray because people that support him love it when he does that. But it's like, but yet they're talking about being supportive of the Constitution. Okay, you say everybody supports the Constitution. I've never heard one person say the Constitution's unfair. We all support the Constitution no matter what side you're on. But, this is not a constitutional act. And a lot of people are definitely worried about what's going on. Are they going to come to my state? Are they going to come to my city? Where protests are going on. You know what? This is the beginning. I hate to say, this is the beginning of something, huge that is going on, and we need to be concerned. And I just drew the ruin card. So, to see, ruin and death. See, the thing is, he doesn't understand. Trump doesn't understand. This is why he's nearing an end where he's not going to succeed in an election. This is all election stuff. This is all pandering to his supporters. And I've been watching what people say. I would say the majority that I've seen are very upset about what is going on in Portland. The majority are. Even people that may be even Republican are like, no, that's a little too far. I can see them on there. They're like, no, that's too far, Trump. This is not, what is going on here. But yeah, I just drew the happiness card. And you know what it makes me feel? He's happy about this. He's absolutely happy about what's going on. And he's been gloating on Twitter. He's gloating on Twitter about this. Like, we're cleaning up Portland. And no, you're not. You're putting people in danger, shooting at people with these rubber bullets and various things, and really upsetting the American people. End card is the world, the universe in this deck. It's thought, and this deck does not mess around. It's very blunt, but the whole world is watching. But one of the things about the world is we're going into a new cycle. That is one of the things the world is about. When we see the world card, we're completing a cycle, and that even shows, okay? Because I also have the completion card, so that fits perfect with the world. This is my first. There is a certain completion that is occurring right now. Something is definitely in effect. So what is that completion? The America you were in before is not the same. Okay, it's not even just COVID and protests and all that, but there's something that has completed, and that is especially, we are seeing right now the emergence of something very scary that is very un-American, and we're going into that new cycle. So this is a whole new world. This is bigger than you think. Oh, it's just one city. Oh, please don't think that, but viewers, please don't think that, because this is about to get bigger than that. There are monuments all over, okay? There are Democratic cities all over that he wants to do this. He doesn't do this in Republican ones. But this is bigger than you may realize. This is military coming into places and so forth is definitely going to expand. I believe they're actually in Seattle is another one, where you know they're coming out there. So we need to be prepared for that. But yeah, this, he thinks this does pander to certain people who are like, great, stop the protesters, this, that. They're graffitiing, they're trying to make them all out to be rioters. But a lot of them, are pretty much, with the virtue card, innocent enough. Just like people at Standing Rock, they're just trying to protect sacred land and stop people from, the fracking and abusive. And they dealt with a lot. But they were a show of force. They were the beginning. They really were. If you kind of step back and remember Standing Rock, and that was before Trump, But they were kind of the beginning sign, you could say, of certain things to come, going up against corporations and greed and so forth. And they had very good intent. But be prepared. I'm really concerned about the death card and the ruin card both showing in this layout. Those are very significant. But this is going to backfire. This is going to backfire in the end come election. There's a lot of people, the young people are voting this time. There's a lot of them, before, didn't vote, this, that, pay attention. Voter turnout was not massive. But this year is going to be something else. They're all registering to vote. So let's all eyes on Portland with this. This is concerning, and this is going to expand to other places.